What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new football news video where we will talk about the UEFA president, the man in charge of European football, saying that football with fans will come back very soon. So we have an extended interview with Ceferin in this video for you guys and I will give my personal opinion. So when do you think fans will return to the football stadiums in the Premier League? Because some experts said that it could be only next year, but I think many clubs, not necessarily in the Premier League, but especially in the lower leagues, could actually go bankrupt and vanish and go out of existence if fans don't come back to the stadium for like a whole year or maybe even like 6 to 9 months. Do you think that many clubs who rely on the revenue, the match day revenue, mostly that's their biggest and most important income source, do you think that those clubs could go bankrupt if football fans are still banned from attending games for like 6 to 9 months or even 12 months, a full year? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy these types of videos, please leave a like, it really helps me out, shows me you can enjoy the content. And the UEFA president said this in an extended interview, Alexander Ceferin, who is in charge of European football. There's still a lot of work to be done. There is so much information to take in, so many calendar issues and so many millions and millions, dozens of millions of dollars that UEFA will lose. It is then hard to fall asleep at night. You would be quite irresponsible if you could fall asleep immediately after a day like that. The situation for UEFA is not that alarming. We are not in a dangerous situation, but we still care about the clubs and the leagues and the stakeholders, so it is a lot of work. It's even worse, I couldn't fall asleep until 4 AM when we had to decide to postpone the Euro 2020 tournament. At that time in the morning I made the decision and then fell asleep for a couple of hours. And I would bet $1 million that the Euro 2020 tournament will be played in 2021 in the summer. I don't know why it wouldn't be. I don't think that this virus will last forever. I think it will change sooner than many think. What gives you that impression, the journalist asks. It's a serious situation, but it is going down now and we are being more cautious. We know more about the virus, and in general I'm an optimistic person. I don't like this apocalyptic view that we have to wait for the second and third waves or even a fifth wave. People, you know, are likely to die one day, but do we have to be worried today? I don't think so. We are ready and we will follow the recommendations of the authorities, but I'm absolutely sure personally that good old football with fans will come back very soon. I mean, very soon is a very vague sentence. I mean, what does he mean? Very soon for me means in 1 or 2 months, but I can't imagine that fans would be allowed back in the stadium in 1 or 2 months. And in 6 months, that's not very soon in the football world. 6 months is like half a season. That's a really long time in the football world. So I don't think he should seriously use this term if it's not a couple of months. Very soon and it's 12 months to a whole year. That's a whole season. That's a long time in football. And the biggest question I think is this: is this going to change football forever? I don't think that anything will change forever, the UEFA president said. It's a new experience. When we got rid of this bloody virus, things will go back to normal. Football didn't change after the Second World War or First World War, and it will not change now either. People have said many times that the world will not be the same after. This might be true, but my point of view is, why not think that the world will be better after this situation? Why not think that we will be smarter or finally understand how fragile we are, how unprotected we are towards nature? So there are always lessons to be learned. When I said earlier this year that 24-team Club World Cup could mean the death of football, what I meant was that mainly because of the way it was presented as if a fund would buy the competition and that the whole competition would be sold. We didn't have any more information than that, and even now I don't have much more information, but as far as I know, the fund is gone, and to be honest, I don't know in which direction this idea is going for now. We will not postpone the Euro 2020 tournament beyond next summer, that's for sure. And he also said that we still absolutely want to launch a third European competition, the UEFA Europa Conference League, which is a little bit of a weird name. I mean, we already have Europa League. Why name it Europa Conference League? And why not just name it Conference League or something like that? It's weird that it has the name or Europa League already in this third league's name. I don't think that makes any sense. And also the big question, what about financial fair play and its future? Are we still committed to the current rules? The clubs still need to follow the rules. If they don't follow the rules, they will always be sanctioned. But of course, we are always thinking about how we can improve our regulations and, if necessary, adapt to new times, new situations. This will not happen very soon, but we are thinking of improving financial fair play, modernizing it and doing something more about the competitive balance. We are also considering some sort of luxury tax if it is possible. I mean, that is a little bit vague, but until we know what kind of concrete changes they are about to make to financial fair play, I don't really want to comment on that. Big question to UEFA. Are you still fully behind the guilty verdict of Manchester City and the 2-year ban? And he said this: look, the decision was made and now the case is at the Court of Arbitration for Sport and CAS will decide the outcome. That's absolutely all I can say for two reasons. Firstly, the independent bodies made the decision, I didn't, and secondly, I really don't know the case well enough to comment. Wow, that's a little bit strange coming from the UEFA president himself. The FIFA president, Gianni Infantino, said previously that this situation was a chance to reorganize and reduce the amount of football being played. Do you agree? And the UEFA president said this, and I quote, "I don't know, I tried to understand what he meant with that, but for sure it's strange that on the one hand you say you want to reduce football and on the other hand you propose a new competition called the Club World Cup. Is that reducing the amount of football, introducing a new competition?" Very good question, and I don't believe that FIFA wants to reduce the number of competitions. If they could, they probably would show football all year round, every single day, just to maximize the TV revenue and milk the footballers dry in terms of them performing every single day and having to play football. And now I think the most controversial topic. A lot has been made about football players' salaries in these times. Do you think that players should be a bit more humble and a bit less greedy, and that clubs should be a little bit wiser with their spending? And the UEFA president answered this: I don't think players are greedy. They are not greedy. The market decides the prices, and if you or I get an offer to be paid £20 million per season, I don't think you or I would say, no, I don't want to be greedy. Give me 200,000. So they are not greedy, the market decides. But now let's see if the market response to this crisis means that the prices go down. It's possible that prices will go down, but I don't think it's fair to say that the players are greedy, that the players are not fair because their salaries are so high. They also bring a lot of revenue, and football is a big industry that pays a huge amount of taxes. The player is also paying a huge taxes, so I don't think that the right word is greediness or that the clubs should be wiser, because it's simply the market that decides how the prices are moving. And in a capitalist society and a capitalist economy, that's how things work. It's not the footballers' fault that they are getting these salaries. I think the clubs should be like the most responsible for this, because clubs decide what kind of transfer fees they are paying, what kind of wages they are paying to the players. And I think the big clubs have the most responsibility in this. And also, UEFA could introduce a wage cap like there is in the NBA, but I think it would probably not stand in court in all of the European countries. The NBA, I think it's easier because it's just one country, the United States, where the NBA operates. But football leagues are all over the world, and each individual country can't, I don't think they can implement like a wage cap in the football industry, because they would be sued left, right and center by all kinds of people, in my opinion, because it just goes against the free market, if you will. So I'm not sure what to make of the UEFA president's comments. I don't think he's making light of the serious situation. I think he's more of an optimistic person, and he's trying to find solutions for this problem, and he's hoping that fans will be returning very soon, maybe even next season, into the stadiums. I don't think he's downplaying the severity of the situation. He just wants to find solutions, and he's hoping that we can avoid a second or a third wave of this virus. And if that's the case, if there will be no second or third wave in the summer, in the autumn, then I think that fans, maybe in a limited capacity, could go into the stadiums. I mean, it will be difficult how to decide it, but probably if you maybe let in like 1/3 or 1/4 of the usual attendance in a stadium, and maybe make fans sit like 2 or 3 chairs separated between them. But of course the diehard fans, the ultras, you just cannot police the biggest and most passionate fans to just sit like free seats next to each other, because I mean, some fans would follow that rule, but others definitely not. And I mean, a small minority could still like jump on the top of each other celebrating goals, because that's like a lifelong habit for many fans. And Jurgen Klopp also gave a very interesting interview that he would never endanger any Liverpool players or Liverpool staff's health, and this is what he said: it is the player's choice that if they come into training, and that is clear. I said before the session, you are here on free will. Usually you sign a contract and you have to be in when I tell you, but in this case, if you don't feel safe, you don't have to be there. You don't have to be here at training. You can go home. There are no restrictions, no punishment, nothing. It's every player's own decision, and we respect that 100%. The boys are all here, the first group of 10 players, then the next session will start and another 10 players will be in, and then another 5 in the afternoon. We will see if they show up, but so far we know they will, because they would have called us. The boys are fine. We would never put anybody in danger to do what we want to do. Yes, we love football. Yes, it's our job, but it's no more important than our lives or the lives of other people. And Jurgen Klopp was asked how it felt returning to Melwood, reuniting with his players, and Jurgen Klopp responded by saying this: brilliant, I really enjoyed it. The weather is fantastic, the boys are in good spirits. This morning we had to come already changed, so I felt a bit like a policeman in my uniform, finally for the right reasons again. That felt pretty special. Then coming to Melwood, seeing all the boys was nice. Before the session we had to give an introduction to make sure everything went in line. It was a short meeting, and then a little bit more about the targets, and then we started training. That was the best part for a while, really good. The first 10 players were here. We have groups of 5 that train at the same time on different pitches, obviously far away from each other, far fewer than usual. It looked like football, and that is what we want to do. For the boys, they had the longest break ever, around 9 weeks. They usually get like 3 or 4 week holiday, and that's it. The international players usually have around 2 weeks in the summer, so we need to get used to a lot of things again. But the first impression was really positive. And Jurgen Klopp also said this: we cannot play football with social distancing, obviously, but the first phase is absolutely possible, and then later on we have to go to the normal things we do in a football game. You saw in Germany last weekend, there were proper football games. There was intensity in the game. So far we have only discussed when we start and all that stuff, but when we do start, there are real targets to achieve and things to fulfill for us and for other teams as well. That will give the games the intensity, but we have to be as creative as possible at the moment, because pre-season usually starts differently. First and foremost, when you have a pre-season, you know when the season starts. We don't know that at the moment, so that is of course different, but we are not allowed to do a couple of things that we would usually do in the first few sessions. We just needed to start because we prepare a body for physical work. We can't start today and then start playing tomorrow. we need at least 3 or 4 weeks for that. We need time to get match fit, and that's what we are doing at the moment. And Jurgen Klopp insisted that Liverpool will prepare the best they can prepare for as competitive Premier League as ever. And he also said that the physical demands on players following weeks in lockdown won't have a big effect because they will have 4 or 5 weeks of training ahead of playing football. So this is what Jurgen Klopp said. We will be in the best possible shape we can be. You know, from pre-seasons, managers usually say we don't know where exactly we stand at this moment. We need maybe 1, 2, 3 or 4 games to know more about our situation. But now the challenge is that we all have to be ready for the first game, whenever it will be. That's interesting. Our game is, for different reasons, always different. You never have the same game again. You never have the same situation again. Everything can be perfect for a second. Then you have injured players and you have to adapt to that. Now it's a situation we don't know. None of us will know when we will start. The earlier they can tell us, the better it is, of course. But for all the teams, it's the same. And that's what makes competition. If all the teams have the same circumstances, then you have a proper competitions. That's what we are preparing for. We don't know exactly how long we have, but we have some time to prepare for the rest of the season and already next season, because I don't think there will be a massive break between the two. And just an update on the Manchester City situation. So Manchester City's appeal at the Court of Arbitration for Sport, that appeal will be heard at the courts on June the 8th to June the 10th. So now we actually have a direct, concrete date to go for, and I think that will be very, very interesting how it develops, and it will have very, very big ramifications in terms of a Liverpool point of view, because if Man City get a 2-year Champions League ban, I can't see them signing too many superstars, and also I can't see them keeping all of their players. Leroy Sané is almost definitely off to most likely Bayern Munich, and some other big players from Manchester City could look for a new challenge. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne said if it's only a 1-year ban, he would stay at Man City, but 2 years at the peak of his career without Champions League football, Kevin De Bruyne would definitely look for an alternative and look for another club to play for, and that would significantly weaken Manchester City and give an even bigger chance for Liverpool next season and beyond to go, hopefully, win back-to-back Premier League titles. That is my absolute dream, and I hope that Liverpool can make it happen. And any chance that Manchester City will be weaker, that's good news for Liverpool. So let me know what you think about all the topics that we discussed in this video, and thanks for watching. See you guys. Goodbye.